I'd like to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land of which we are gathered and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to also acknowledge any sorry business that may be felt in our community at this time. My name is Councillor Tony Hall. I'm joined by Director of Community and Lifestyle, Mr. Brad White. Welcome to the City Lifestyle Committee meeting of Wednesday, the 12th of February 2025. I declare this meeting open at 9:54. I would like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. Attendances and leaves of absences. I note that Councillor Russell is away for this meeting. And is an apology. I'd like to have a mover for a leave of absence for Councillor Russell. That's moved by Councillor Bradley, second by Councillor Murphy. Can I see a show of hands? That's carried by everyone in the room. I'd also like to note that Mayor John Raven is an apology. He's away for important business. Confirmations of previous committee meeting minutes. There is now a motion displayed on the screen to confirm the previous minutes, that the minutes of the City Lifestyle Committee meeting held on Wednesday, 22nd of January 2025 be confirmed. Do I have a mover for the motion as it is displayed on the screen? That is moved by Councillor Murphy. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bennon. Can I see a show of hands? That is moved by everyone in the room. Thank you, councillors. Declarations of conflict of interest. I now refer to the declarations of conflict of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest today? There being none, I will now refer to the reports on today's agendas. We'll begin with item 6.1, Logan City Council Libraries Learning and Discovery Plan 2025 to 2029. This is a public report. Our presenter is Libraries and Creative Industry Manager, Mr. Leo Clayton. You may please speak to your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, councillors. Joining me today is Shelley Lordsberg, who you'll know as our Library Services, Client Services Program Leader. Through the Chair, today I present the report seeking Council's endorsement for the draft Logan City Council Libraries Learning and Discovery Plan 2025-2029 to be adopted. The Learning and Discovery Plan serves as our roadmap to detailing how libraries will provide purposeful programming that supports the community's lifelong learning needs. This plan replaces the existing plan that expired last year. In September, we brought the draft Learning and Discovery Plan to committee for endorsement to go to community consultation. This consultation was conducted using Council's Have Your Say engagement tool from October the 14th to November the 3rd. I've got a really brief slideshow here just highlighting the community engagement plan and the feedback received and some of the actions that the new plan will enact. So firstly, just a quick snapshot for you all of just some of our statistics and data from our usage from last year, last financial year. Really, for me, this highlights again still great participation from community with well over 1 million visitors to our libraries, which is great, showing community still really well loving what we do, and also huge use of collections with 2.2 million items being borrowed for our collection. I think one of the other highlights to point out with these numbers is that we're seeing great use of our online library service. So that's for our ebooks, our online resources and the tools that we provide for our website. So great access for our community 24/7 for our library service. Plus also you'll see there the outreach. We've got 28,000 Logan residents participating within community. Great for people that might not be able to get to a library. So really good to see that it's not just within the four walls around that being well used everywhere through Logan. So we As I said, we went to community engagement mid-October. We had 78 people respond to the survey, which was essentially asking them what they thought of the Learning Discovery Plan and whether they were supportive of the plan or had feedback for it. 76.9% of the respondents were happy with it. We had, of the 22.1% that weren't, 9% of them providing neutral feedback and 5.1% of people who were not supportive of the plan provided negative feedback about what we provided as a service. Just to give you a taste of the feedback we received, say most of it was really positive about the plan and just the library service we provide in general. Key things that were recurrent in feedback was praise for library staff, council's support of vulnerable people through the home library service, our library's focus on sustainability, the positive learning opportunities for all residents, and there was a lot pointed out, not just that the libraries are doing great things for our younger residents, but also what we do for our older residents as well and everyone in between, and also just the commitment of council as a whole to providing accessible spaces and skilled staff. Some of the improvement opportunities that were identified through the feedback was an increased focus on library collections within the plan, better access to online resources, and library access and the way we communicate to community came up at times too. Whilst this feedback doesn't necessarily impact on what we were feeding back in the plan, it was really valuable, and we will be using a lot of that as we do our future planning as the year goes on, and we're already starting work around our library awareness campaign, so some of this feedback was a great start to what the community want to hear from us. But what we did have from the feedback in terms of changes made is that we did hear that the community were a bit confused around how collections interacted with our Learning and Discovery Plan and how they complement one another. So we have increased the visibility of the use of library collections in this plan. So you'll see more statistics around how the collections are used on page 19 and 31 of the plan, plus outcomes 2.5 and 2.5 and 5.4 of the actions within the plan have been updated as well to amend and emphasise the use of collections within meeting those actions. So we've heard those and made those changes as well. In terms of seeing the plan in action, following your endorsement, we will be looking at providing purposeful programming and resourcing to support our community's lifelong learning through those 5 areas of interest that are in the plan, which is access and inclusion, economic opportunity, nurturing learning and wellbeing, sustainability and connected community. And some of the things that we're planning as sort of once we kick off is that continuing to ensure that our physical and digital spaces remain welcoming and people have equal opportunity to use and benefit from those spaces. But it's important to emphasise that includes that digital presence that we have online and making sure that we're realising that people are using those digital resources, and we just want to keep making access to those easy and increasing that access, and also maintaining the home library service, which is so critical for our vulnerable parts of the community. We are in the middle of, just about to announce our new meeting room processes and guidelines, just to make it easier for people to use the meeting rooms and to improve community access to those. So they are starting, I think, this week. So that'll be good, because we've realised that we just want to encourage as much use of those. We just don't want the lights out on those. So I'll take some questions on that after this, if that's okay. We're refreshing our library co-working spaces. They've been not as active as they have been since 2020, so it's a real focus to get people using those. And continuing to deliver those lifelong learning opportunities for like-minded people, and also to reduce that social isolation that we see in the city. And of course that continued focus on those key areas of First 5 Forever, critical to continue that in library and in community, promoting and improving our digital inclusion for all ages, encouraging that lifelong love of reading, and supporting that school-age learning through STEM and our arts programs. So the plan aims, as I said earlier, to position us as the community's centre for lifelong and self-directed learning and discovery. And through this vision, we hope that the libraries will confirm its commitment to contributing to long-term social environmental and economic health for Logan residents. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Councillor Bradley, you have a question for Manager Clayton?
Thank you. By the statistics that you gave, it looks like two books are borrowed per one person, roughly, statistically, which is good. And always libraries have had amazing feedback from the community, and people don't mind paying their rates for the library on a whole. That's feedback I receive. But I put my hand up when you said about the meeting rooms. That meeting rooms and volunteering are probably two things that people contact me about that they're not happy about, or whatever feedback. So can you just talk through that, please, about the meeting rooms?
Yeah, sure. So we realise as well that at times meeting room use is not always easy for our community to book and use. So we've spent a bit of time reflecting on how we can make that easier and how we can ensure that it's available for community groups and people, because we have had instances where people have booked it that may have had better avenues and paid facilities they could have used, but they've been using our services. So we've reviewed that, and our aim is to allow community groups to be able to register as community groups through their library cards, and it will allow them to do ongoing bookings, which means that they'll have spaces that they'll know they've got on a more regular basis. But to ensure equity, we will be maintaining a careful watch that it's fair use, so it's got wider access for the fuller community. So yes, we were aware that meeting room bookings and usage frustrated some of our community at times, and that's why we've done this, and I'm happy to share that information with councillors if you want to share it with your residents.
Thank you. If I may continue, can you please maybe talk about volunteers, what people can do to volunteer?
Within our libraries, we have a range of volunteer options. Most of our volunteers assist with the home library service, so that's our people who are wonderful and collect the items from the libraries and then deliver them to the residents who are in their homes. We also have volunteer programs with English literacy, so people who assist with people who are learning English as a second language. They're a valuable cohort as well for us. But I encourage anyone who's interested in volunteering to just make contact with their local library and talk about the skills that they have, and our regional librarians will happily have a discussion and let them know what's on offer. But there are two key volunteer opportunities, but I think from memory we've got about 400 library volunteers, so still a wonderful cohort of people who assist us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Lane.
Thank you very much. With the leasing of the library meeting rooms, a group in my area, Marvellous Mature Women, has been meeting at the library for well over a decade, and they love the space because it's very safe. They feel comfortable there. They feel welcome there. They did raise it. Their price may have gone up a smidgen, and they're a little bit fretful over that because they're trying to fundraise for a new microphone set and they can't do both. So if you could have a look at that, that would be amazing. They do love the space, as do other people who use it. When this report came out, I actually sent a question down to your area, and I asked a breakdown of the number of members. Now, in a city of roughly 330,000 people, 100,000 people belong to the library. That's an amazing touch point. And it's fantastic. We've got 70,000 adults, 21,000 junior members, 7,100 online members, and 414 doing the home delivery service. You are one of the biggest and best touch points for our city, apart from people paying their rates on time, which is wonderful in itself. But the crew there do a wonderful job. The moment you walk through the doors, you're welcomed by somebody and asked how they can help. That service you just can't beat. So I just want to say thank you very much for the report. Thank you for the work that your staff do. I know that they're warm and they're welcoming, and long may it continue into the future.
Thank you, Councillor Lane, and we'll pass that positive feedback on. Appreciated. Yes, and I'll get back to you on that. Thank you.
Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you very much, and thank you. You know I love our local libraries, especially the home delivery service. With my mum having a stroke numerous years ago, she's unable to go to the library herself, and it was reliant. She was very reliant on me doing that when she first had her stroke and that sort of thing. But the home delivery service is an amazing thing, and thank you to those 400 volunteers that are part of that. But what I wanted to talk about was the visitor rates, and the data that you showed is amazing, and it's definitely a service that we need, and it's not one that needs any sort of cutting or anything like that. But I still think we can do better. So we have numerous libraries that need to be built in the future, and I think it's crucial that they're built in the right spot. I have always advocated libraries need to be built and incorporated into shopping centres, like actually attached to shopping centres. As a mum of 2 girls that are now 17 and 14, when they were little, I'm sorry, I didn't visit a Logan library at all. It was too inconvenient for me, especially my local one, and it still is inconvenient. I have to make a specific trip to go to the Greenbank Library, and I love it. I love the staff. It's beautiful. But I have to actually do a specific trip. And I drive past it many times a day, but I always forget, oh, I've got to go into the library. I've got to go return those books and that sort of thing. It needs to be incorporated into a shopping centre. When my kids were little, I went to Orion, I went to Indooroopilly, I went to Garden City, because you know what? They had to go to the doctors, they had to get their immunisations, I needed to do shopping. It was a one-stop shop for me. I didn't go here and then go, oh, I've got to chuck them back in the car, then go over here. We still need to do more work around it so we're not doing those specific trips. Because what I have a question on is, who's the economic opportunity for? Is it for the library, or is it for the stakeholders surrounding the library that do catering? Because those community groups that go in there, they might want to provide catering. We have meetings held in there. Where are they getting the catering from if they're not incorporated into a shopping centre? They have to stop over here, drive over here. It's not a convenient option for some people, and especially because I now have so many people living with disabilities in my area. It's not convenient. So who's the economic opportunity for?
Through the chair, thank you for your feedback, councillor, and I acknowledge what you're saying around the positioning of libraries, and certainly I know that as we look at future potential locations for libraries, we would hope that they'd be in precincts that include, you know, shopping, good parking, and other community facilities. To your question about economic opportunity, just the plan itself, the economic opportunity refers more to what we're doing as a library service to support the economic growth of residents and things for our programming and what we deliver. But I do see your point in terms of who benefits from the position of our libraries. Many of our libraries are, with the exception of the smaller ones, and Greenbank in particular that you refer to, the likes of Logan Central, Logan West, have got good location to shops, and we hope that people who might be bringing morning tea and things to the community meetings are using the local shops. But I do see your point towards support good, well-used community spaces like our libraries being in proximity to commercial facilities for the users. I do, thank you.
Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, through the chair. You had a really great slide up in that presentation with all the statistics of the library. Could you share that with us? Because I don't know whether you've seen lately that on social media some people are saying that the libraries aren't being used, but we know in here that they're like the most used part of council. So if you could share that slide, I think it was the second slide on there with the statistics around, we could share that out into the community and just let them realise that a library is more than just a book. It's access to all sorts of data, information, groups, social side of things, and we could spread the good news for you.
Through the chair, thank you, councillor. And Friday, to collide with Valentine's Day, is Library Lovers Day. So if councillors wanted to acknowledge their wonderful local library, two timing their councillor, but yeah, it is Library Lovers Day, and we'd really appreciate just that push. That's nationwide. It's not just a Logan thing, just to let you know. But yeah, we'll share that with councillors today. Thank you.
That'll come with a dozen books, not a dozen roses, right?
That's exactly it. What a wonderful gift for someone. A dozen books.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to close out with advocating for the libraries in Logan. If we think back to the year 2000, before Taylor Swift was on the radio, and before the internet was probably a little bit less popular, I can remember I was stuck in Perth. I just quit one of the circuses that I was with, and I really struggled with my writing and reading comprehension. I wanted to apply to a couple of jobs and I wanted to create a resume. So I went into Centrelink to see if they would help me. And Centrelink quickly said to me, we don't really have that type of services. And they just sent me out and on my way. So the state kind of let me down, at least in that way. My next place that I could go to was the library to see if there was anyone there that could help me write a resume and help me read some of the forms that I could to apply to jobs. And I'm not sure if it was a volunteer, I'm not sure if it was a library staffer, but someone sat down and helped me write a resume. They helped me apply to a couple of jobs. They helped me answer some of the questions that were on these forms. And they even helped me enrol into a bridging school as well. So I don't think I'd be sitting where I am right now if it wasn't for one of the local libraries in a town. That's how important they are. There are people that are dependent on the services of library. And when we think of building areas, it's one of the primary things to build knowledge in that area is to build a library in that area. And so, you know, I would say that libraries are essential to any community that we have. And I'll continue to advocate and I'll continue to tell my own story about how important a library is for me. And I'd like to thank anyone who volunteers at library. You do an amazing job and you create people, you help create people, and you help create opportunities for that person as well. So thank you for everything you do with the library services. I'm really looking forward 2025 to 2029 to see what we do. With that, we've got a PowerPoint that we need to table. Do I have a mover for someone who'd like to table it? Yep, that's Councillor Murphy. That's a procedural motion, so we don't need a seconder. Can I see a show of hands in support? That's everyone in the room. That has been passed. Now, I believe we have a report that we'll take. Councillor Murphy is going to move that report. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Stemp, a second. Can I see a show of hands? That is everyone in the room, and that has been passed. Does anyone else have any questions for our Libraries and Creative Industries Manager, Mr. Leo Clayton? There being none, I believe you're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're now moving on to item 6.2, Sports and Community Infrastructure 2024 to 2025 Q2 report for the 1st of October to 31st of December. This is a public report, and we have Sports and Community Infrastructure Manager, Mr. Ben O'Brien. You may speak to your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, councillors. Yes, the report before you is an update on Q2 progress for the major sports and community infrastructure projects. We've prepared also a PowerPoint presentation to walk you through the highlights within the report. Before I commence that PowerPoint presentation, just wanted to reflect quickly on some of the stats that we've had through Q2. So the gentleman to my left has had 64 projects either on the go, starting, completing, or in delivery through Q2 alone, which saw $7.8 million worth of expenditure on those projects. And from a maintenance side of things, because it's always important to try and maintain our substantial existing network, the team completed 365 of 411 maintenance requests in Q2. And we'll kick off with the PowerPoint presentation. So this is, and you're aware, the Beeley Aquatic Centre. So not that it looks like a pool right now, but pleased to report that the bulk excavations on the site have been completed. That retaining wall structure there is the beginning of the multi-purpose building, and my understanding as of today, work to the floor of the main pool area is commencing. So good progress on site. Hard to tell from the photos, but hopefully now that we're starting to get out of the ground, it'll be hopefully a lot more lively photos for future updates. Here is the Flagstone Community Centre that's coming up next. On the screen before you is a render of the facility. We are hoping that construction for this project will commence in Q3. We have been continuing our lighting upgrades. So lighting upgrades have been completed at Low Oval AFL, Jimboomba Pony Club, Noya Park, Homestead Park. It has been a focus for us in the sports facilities program, one, to either upgrade the technology and lighting to make them cheaper to run, to replace technology that may not be actually available in the future to replace those lights, but also focusing on increasing usage of our existing assets before we build new assets as well. So opening up fields to be used at night as well as the day increases that usage rate for us and the community. We have the Queens Road depot, and I appreciate this project has been a feature of this presentation for a while now. Pleased to report that practical completion will be any week now. And in Q2, the dog sale building was completed. You're probably aware the vet clinic was completed in Q1, so very, very excited to hand that project entirely over to Emily's team for operational use. This is a fly-through of the concept only of the upcoming Michelin Sports South Clubhouse. Please note the colour scheme is not representative of the end product at this stage. This is just an early concept. So these are some of the elevations for that facility. Bring to your attention that 1/3 of that is the existing facility, the middle third of that is stage 1, and the other third of that view is stage 2. Some of the things that we are, and there's been a conversation recently about looking at different ways to build things, put some price pressure, downwards pressure hopefully on costs. In this scenario we're looking at, we've designed this to be able to be built in 2 stages, stage 1, stage 2. When we go to procurement, we'll seek to procure both stages, but depending on costs and need, we can have the ability to build it in stage 1 and then down the track in stage 2 as well. So in addition to things like modular and containers and so forth, this is just another lever we're trying to pull on a number of projects at the moment to see what's out there in the market to give us options going forwards. The Gould Adams pool, so the pool's been completed for a little bit now, which has been exciting, but in addition to that, just reporting on the fact that the new roller shutters have been completed, windows and the HVAC system, which is very, very important, certainly in a pool as well, it's critical, also has been completed since our last update. Again, Wilbur Street Youth Centre has been a bit of a feature. Whilst it achieved practical completion with a building, typically there's a few minor works that always need to be carried out and completed. The main purpose here is that we've successfully appointed an operator, Recon Youth, that we're very proud of them. They bring a lot of energy to that facility. And next is a video of the soft launch we had of the...
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honour to welcome you all to this very special occasion as we officially unveil the plaque for the Wilbur Street Youth Centre.
Logan is the youngest city in South East Queensland, 30% of our population is under the age of 18, without 100% of our future. Teresa gets that.
I understand what it means to have someplace safe to go to. This doesn't happen by itself. We've got Jim and Cameron that backed it all the way. We've got my councillor colleagues that voted for funding to go forward. So thank you to everybody. I'm so proud of you.
Logan City is the kind of place where we believe in each other. And we believe in people, especially if they're doing it tough. And we see their future and we see their potential. And we do whatever we can to help them. And that's what this place is all about.
And the Wilbur Street Youth Centre isn't just a building. It's going to be a beacon of hope and possibility. A place where young people, ages between 12 and 24, can develop skills in music, art, fashion, barista art, barbering, business, leadership, and identify career pathways.
Our kids deserve the best. They deserve something that's beautiful, and they deserve something that can change their lives. Every kid is born with the chance to be good and to be great. 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
Just recently, we were informed that the Everleigh project, we're in partnership with Mirvac, but also the federal government, state government, and AFL Queensland, as the Queensland State Finalists for the National Ken Gannon Community Football Facility Award, which recognises best practice in community football across facility development across the country. So we wait to hear more about that national award down the track. So that's the presentation. Yep. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, I believe we have Councillor Bradley who's got a question for Manager O'Brien.
You had to think about what my question was. It was way back. Unrelated to the presentation, but it triggered a thought. I had inquired ages ago about lighting for the cricket club at Underwood Park, and if it is on a program for an upgrade. So I still haven't had a proper answer to that. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. I'll check in regards to the sports facilities program. We'll come back to you with where it sits on that program. Thank you.
Councillor Lane.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Wow, what a good couple of months it's been for Division 2. The completion of some of these facilities have been amazing. Last week it was Bollywood dancing, this week it was Cook Island dancing. The kids are entering art competitions, they're activating, they're going down there, they're learning how to register for different programs. It's a life changer and a game changer for a lot of kids in my local community, and the youth centre is amazing. So to the team that put that all together, it was just a wonderful job, and there is a dedication to all of you in that centre so that people know that you all played a role in it and how important a role it was. The special school is looking forward to going down there, and they know that they can go down there because it's fully compliant. It has the shower facilities, it has the bathroom facilities, and they know that their kids are part of the community as well, and it's a wonderful opportunity. I thank Rolando and the Recon team for what they're doing in activating it, and we're getting the ethnic leaders in soon to see what they can contribute to make this a success. The Gould Adams pool had some hiccups when we first opened it back up, but your team again worked really well with the community to get some problems solved, and we are still working on that lift for the pool so that people with physical limitations can get in and out of that small pool that's there. And I thank my councillor colleagues who are all going to chip in towards that. That's pretty magic. So the community is definitely benefiting from some spending, and I look forward to seeing spending in other areas coming on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I'd just also like to build on that and just thank Jason and his team and Noelle and her team for, I suppose, in regards to Wilbur Street Youth Centre, working with yourself, Councillor Lane, on the planning and vision. It's not easy to fit out an existing facility as well. It wasn't built from scratch either. And then to set up the operating framework and to have that all come together takes a lot of work and a lot of expertise. So just like to call out a special acknowledgement of Noelle and Jason and their teams as well. So thank you.
Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the Everleigh AFL field, all the work that's been done between council, state, federal, Mirvac and that sort of thing. They've delivered an amazing project. It was funny to be there in January when the Lions had their first training hit out for the year and they were like, oh my God, this is an MCG size field. They didn't quite realise it, and just the canvas of the field and stuff was just amazing for them, and they came off that field going, wow, didn't realise it was like 10 minutes up the road from Springfield and that sort of thing. So they were blowing out, which was great. So was the coach, so was everyone from the Lions, so that's amazing. So I think it'll do really good in the national awards, so I'm looking forward to hearing that one. Flagstone Flagstone Community Centre, wow, 5 years. This went through in the 2020 budget. We're now in 2025. This has taken 5 years to get it to this point. Can't wait to see the first sod turned, and I will be there for that because this has been saga after saga after saga, swapping land, not getting access to the land properly and all the rest of it. So for the community, this is something they've been waiting for quite some time, so I can't wait to actually be on the ground and see it starting. Even though this isn't in here, Middle Green toilets are actually starting next week. The fence went up Monday, I think. I drove past and the fence was already up around the building to say that the toilets are about to start. I can't wait for that project to start as well, because that has been probably about 2.5 years in the making as well. So, wow, some projects really do take a lot of time to get delivered. Just one comment on the report in attachment 1. Next time you do it, can you just add the division in there too, please? Because I do get thoroughly confused with some of the projects as to where it actually is situated and that sort of thing, because some parks have the same name as other parks, and I'm like, hang on, I got that park and that's not mine. So yeah, so if we can just add the division in, that would be great. Thanks.
Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, through the chair. Hi team, thank you. You work really hard. Like you said, you've got 64 projects right across the city, and that's a lot of work. And I know that your team is constantly always on the phone with me. You have huge amount of projects in Division 12, and I thank you for that. Just wanted to mention some so that the community can hear how much work that you are actually doing down in my area. I think you guys should move in down there for a second home. So we've got the pool, the Beanley Pool, which is a huge investment by council to get that other 50-metre pool in Logan City Council. We've got lighting projects, Noya Park, Bishop Street, the netball courts, Hamill Park. We've got a new clubhouse coming to Bedford Park for the Mallet Club. We've got Chris Green Park, which is just completed, and we're just finishing off there. The signage just went up the other day. It looks absolutely magnificent. Rectification work at the Eagleby Pool, and we finished off the Eagleby Giants grounds. That's nearly completed, and Noya Park with the new lighting upgrade. It's been amazing, the work that you have done in my area, and I thank you a lot. Thank you.
And I'll join to that anything that goes in Beenleigh, Division 6 gets the benefit of, thankfully, for being so close. Councillor Jeremiah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question's to the Director and the Manager. On Monday, I sent a letter to the Chief Executive Officer asking for 4 simple things regarding the Rosier Park project. Now, last week I met with the key stakeholder of that project, Logan City Speed, and they're a great group of people that are very passionate about seeing Rosier Park activated. This project has experienced a lot of delays, and just like what Councillor Wilcox mentioned, there's a perception of drama after drama after drama with the project management of Rosier Park. So to fix that, I wrote a letter saying I just want 4 simple requests to be lodged with Council. Number 1, I'd like Council to allocate a designated liaison with the club to communicate the status of the project on a regular basis with the club. Number 2, I would like to see the master plan redone so the project is more feasible. Number 3, I communicated those bare minimum requirements of what the club needs to be able to operate at Rosier Park. And number 4, I requested a reliable timeline for when we will see this project progress and the associated gate points going forward. Can I please receive information on when those requests will be addressed and when I'll receive a response to that letter?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Jeremiah. I spoke with Ben earlier this week, and I believe he's formulating those responses. Should get them in the next couple of days, subject to going out through the CEO's office.
Thank you.
Councillor St Ledger.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate the work you guys are doing around cost savings and stuff. You're not just sitting in here and talking about it, and particularly with that stuff around the design there at McKinnon. The team's working really hard to get the best product for the community, but also looking at ways that we can save a bucket of money as well. So I just want to say thank you for that. You're not just sitting here saying, yep, we're listening. You're actually putting it into place and working really hard on it.
Do we have any further questions for the Sports and Community Infrastructure Manager? Okay, before we move it, we need to table the PowerPoint. This is a procedural motion, so we will only need one mover. Councillor Lane has moved. Can I see a show of hands in support? That has been carried by everyone in the room. Okay, now we would like to move the report. Do we have a mover for the report? Councillor Lane. Seconded by Councillor Murphy. Show of hands in support. That has been carried by everyone in the room. Now, does anyone have any general business for the Sports and Community Infrastructure Manager? Councillor Bradley?
Thank you. I know you're getting a lot of praise from everyone in the room, but I'm going to add to that. Please pass on to the appropriate staff sincere thanks for the Girl Guides LIP-funded project. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Plus also the Rochedale Tigers. The rendering looks so good, like beyond what I anticipated, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that lovely mural.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. And I think with just to share, within Jason's team, we've established a renewals and minor works team that can provide a wonderful level of service. So that's fantastic. We'll pass that on. Thank you.
Okay, with no further general business for the Sports and Community Infrastructure Manager, you are free to go. Okay, so we've got no late reports to consider. So that concludes our agenda for today. Does any councillors have any general business for the Director of Community and Lifestyle? Mr. Brad White. Councillor Bennett? Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to make sure we give a shout out to Brad Page and Ali with the events team. So the Country Town Awards is the biggest online poll for country awards in Australia, and Flame has been nominated for the best festival. So, like we said, it was the most positive feedback I think I've ever seen for council. It's going to be even bigger this year. So when we talk about core business and stuff, this also gets us these generous awards. So hopefully we get a win on that one. But thank you to your team and blowing the event out of the water.
Amazing work. Okay, now I'm not sure if we had Councillor Bradley first or Councillor Lane first. Councillor Bradley, you may go.
Thank you. I was hoping Emily might be here to ask this question too, but if it could be passed on. I know, I was going to talk to her one-on-one about it anyway, but regardless, and I know we're looking at policy tomorrow. Brisbane City Council apparently can fine people that are parking illegally just from a photo, not from their council offices, from other people in the public. I'm just wondering how that works and how come we can't do that here in our city. If we've got photographic evidence of them doing the wrong thing, and here we have to wait for the council officers, which sometimes can be months and months and months, to actually fine the person for doing the wrong thing.
Thank you for the question. Look, I'm going to have to take that one on notice. But I'll let Emily know you've asked the question, and if you're reaching out and connecting, then yeah, I'm sure she'll have an answer.
I may add into that, maybe it's because Logan City Council sees everyone as innocent until proven guilty, unlike in Brisbane, where everyone's guilty of illegally parking. Councillor Lane.
Thanks very much, Mr Chair. Over the course of the summer, we had obviously the rains and the grass grew really, really quickly. And some contractors from our mowing team did a absolutely fantastic job, and others needed a little bit of guidance. I actually wanted to say to Craig Logan and Brent Dowden and the team that they've done a wonderful job of getting online and looking at the comments and actually being reactive to some of those comments. I know that a lot of work's gone into my area in taking back some of the lost parkland that was just too hard to mow for the last contractors, but the new crew are actually doing a wonderful job of regaining some of that land back for community use. In Underwood, there was a complaint, and within probably 4 hours, there was a response to it. The contractors have been contacted. They went up and they did the remediation of the works, and I just want to say a big thank you, because mowing is our #1 complaint at times, and this summer I think the team have worked really hard to try and cover as much as they can, so I just want to say a thank you for that.
Yes, can I just thank you for thanking them, Councillor Lane? It's been a tough job for the Parks team. Both Brent, Craig and all the team under them have had a real crack at it this year. We had a tough year last year, as you all would have experienced. And in between last year and this year, our contract was renewed. So we had 4 out of our 5 top tier contractors were new to Logan. So quite a lot of change, quite a lot of implementation to try and not put us back where we were. We had a fairly good weather season. It wasn't as tough as last year, but we are getting quite a bit of good feedback being passed from community through councillors. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll add to that. The mowing teams really go above and beyond, and really, if they just stuck to what they were actually meant to do, it'd be a totally different situation in many areas, and a lot of residents wouldn't like it. But they go way beyond what they're required to do, and it's kind of become the new norm and expectation. And when you get a new contractor and they do what they're exactly told, a lot of residents get upset because they've been so used to getting those extra things that the parking team does. So we need to arrive somewhere in the middle, because mowing is one of those hugely expensive things that a city does. Okay, no more general business for the director? No. Okay, with no more further general business, I declare the City Lifestyle meeting of the 12th of February concluded at 10:41. Thank you.